Thanks for clicking on the podcast. I just wanted to tell you guys that everything after this point does contain spoilers. We get into the meat of the movie around 29 minutes, so if you want to skip there, feel free. And here we go. Hey guys, this is the Kevin and King podcast, and today we're reviewing Crawl, the action-adventure horror critter film that will take your arm and drag you through the mud. King, did you like the movie?
You know, I love creature features. This one was better than average, but it didn't do exactly what I wanted it to. So we'll get into that. But overall, yeah, I liked it.
Uh, I have some messed up views on it. I don't know. I liked parts of it cinematically. I thought it was great. I thought it was fun to watch. It had some cool scenes and stuff, but acting and storytelling and everything was kind of cringy. And then it got to the end and it ended, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna look at the reviews because they're gonna tear this movie up. I pull up the reviews and all the reviews are great. They're like, it's the next Jaws. This is the best summer blockbuster in a while.
It is not the next Jaws.
And I don't know. I didn't dislike the movie, but I didn't like it as a movie, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't like it as a critical movie. I just thought it was fun to watch.
I mean, if you're going into it for a critical movie, I think you're gonna have a bad time. It's not meant for that. It's supposed to be an exciting, thrilling, popcorn jaunt.
And
like,
for the most
go with
part,
a date and cling to their arm kind of thing.
Yeah, for the most part, I thought it was gonna be that way, and I thought I was gonna have more fun in the movie. Which, when it was like the alligator scenes and stuff like that was happening, I was excited to watch it. But then the acting was bad. It wasn't bad. It just, I guess, how they wrote the story, it was kind of cringy. I was just.
They had some
she's
real
the
odd
apex
choices.
predator now. That stuff. And I mean, if I'm thinking back on it, there hasn't been any like critter movies that that have come out that have been super good or even interesting to watch.
It feels real weird that you're calling it a critter movie. It's a creature feature.
Creature feature, whatever. I don't know. I thought it was gonna give me feels of I think the movie's called Lake Placid, and when it came out I was like a child, and I thought that
I really wanted to watch that before watching. Like, I really wanted to rewatch Lake Placid before watching this, and I just couldn't find it except on Amazon, and I don't have Amazon.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be like that, give me that kind of scary feel and everything, and just bring me back to that when I was a kid, because I wasn't supposed to watch that movie when I was a kid, and it was like really scary at the time and everything. And this one, it just didn't do it for me. But I mean, that's how I feel about the movie.
Okay, so it's directed by Alexandre Aja, who did The Hills Have Eyes, the 2006 version, and Piranha 3D, the 2010 version. Have you watched either of those?
I've watched. Sorry, I just got killed by an alligator. So I've watched the Piranha 3D. I don't. What was the other movie that you said?
The 2006 version of The Hills Have Eyes.
Is that just the first Hills Have Eyes?
No, the first one was made in like the 70s, maybe 80s.
Okay, not that old one. Then it's the only Hills Have Eyes I've watched.
So you have seen it?
Yes, I have. I remember a little
Okay.
bit from it.
Yeah, that one probably had better like intensity to it just because like you really weren't sure who was gonna live and who wasn't. Uh, Whereas this one, like, because of the way the movie is set up, like it's pretty obvious who's gonna live and who isn't. So that kind of hurts the tension of it.
Yeah, I didn't like the jump scares and everything was nice. All that felt good. I just, I mean, I wasn't like suspensed during the movie at all.
Yeah, it didn't have a lot of suspense. It mostly relied on jump scares, and because of that, I'm pretty pissed that they got me so good so many times.
Yeah, I mean they were really good jump scares. But that was one thing I like. Oh my gosh, I just ran into somebody on the horse.
What is wrong with you?
Alright, I'm gonna try to kill an alligator with a knife. Don't see this going well for me. Oh, yeah, no, it didn't go well for me. Man, that Haley girl, she makes it look so easy to just stab a fucking alligator till it stops biting you.
Yeah, I mean that. There was some things that I felt were really off with the movie. Just in general about how they were trying to get out of the house and everything. I don't know. Like,
Well, okay, so the movie starts out like does the whole swimming deal, sets it up that she's a fast swimmer and everything, but she's also got daddy issues and like has some tension with her sister. Sets all that up fine. She goes looking for her dad, goes to his condo and grabs Sugar the dog, which, man, like, for the first, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes, I was like, that dog dies. This movie sucks.
yeah.
But then after that, I was like, the dog isn't gonna die unless they do, like, the shittiest jump scare at the end. But the dog seemed kind of incredibly unhelpful to the entire event.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess the dog found the dad a couple of times, but
yeah. I mean, for the most part, it saved the dad's life. Other than that, I didn't feel like it had any use or any, like... Yeah, after, like, the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, you kind of knew, yeah, they're not going to kill this dog. So there's no tension to it. And it kind of didn't make sense. It kept barking at the, at, like, the door to the cellar or to the... whatever that place was underneath the house. And when the one cop...
I guess it'd be considered a crawl space.
Yeah, the crawl... I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Yes, the crawl space.
Which, funny enough, most Florida homes don't have any like crawl space or basement because they're under the water line and also the soil is so sandy it just doesn't work very well for it.
Yeah. I don't know, okay, so I liked the beginning of the movie much better than I liked the end. I thought the end was subpar. I loved them being underneath the house. I thought that was the best part of it. And I felt like they needed to stay there much longer than they ended up staying.
Wait, they needed to stay where?
Underneath the house. Like, once they got out of there...
Oh, I don't know, man. I feel like they really kind of
killed it.
tapped that mine for all it was worth.
Yeah, story-wise. And I didn't...
Speaking of story-wise, it was written by Sean and Michael Rasmussen, who their only other like big film that I could find was called The Ward from 2010. I haven't seen that one, have you?
Award. No, I have not.
Hmm. Yeah, so I don't know how,
Well, if it's anything like this,
but
then probably not super great.
well, well, that one was directed by John Carpenter, so it's probably like it must have something to appeal to him, because I mean, the man's a horror legend.
Yeah. I don't know. But, so, we get into the movie, it starts, she's swimming, and then I already have a
Right.
problem with it because they're like, hey, there's a hurricane coming and we're at swim practice. Regardless of if, she's a 2 hour drive away from where it's supposed to hit or whatever, or that it's coming straight to them, like, it's Florida. They take things more serious than that, and it was kind of like, any real university would have already stopped practice. Nobody could have done anything. Nah, that kind of started off like, oh, you're not gonna go. I don't know. I didn't like that. Um. So, and then it keeps moving
Well,
on.
I think
What?
with that it was like, I guess in slight defense of that, uh, the hurricane was supposed to originally miss Florida completely, and then it shifted as hurricanes sometimes do, and so I guess like they were just like, all right, like we'll finish practice and then tell everyone to get out.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like they still would have taken it more seriously. Um.
Probably.
So
Also,
let's.
also the fact that they made her a Florida Gator, a little bit on the nose.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it was on
It's
the
like,
nose,
all
though.
right. Yeah, it was. All right,
Yeah.
so she gets the dog. She goes to the parents' old house. Uh, Dad's truck's there. Dad's phone's there. No sign of Dad. But she hears a radio playing in the crawl space, or the like. That's such a weird like area, because like it's really weirdly laid out. The pipes are all over the place, and it's like this uncomfortable 4 foot high like crouch but move through in some areas. Just the whole design is really bizarre to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think underneath my house we have a crawl space like that, but it's not. It's nowhere near that big. Like that was a very tall crawl space with a lot of space. It, ours is like you can slide through it to get to where the pipes and other things are, but I don't know. That was a big space.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just a really bizarre middle ground between actual basement and just crawl space.
Yeah.
But
So
anyways, she gets
yeah.
down there. She finds her dad, who's clearly been injured by something. Uh,
Ooh.
like his his shoulders all jacked up, uh, and and he's unconscious. So she does the very smart move of using a tarp to help her drag him, uh, and gets him all the way to the stairs. And then bam, croc attack. Wow, that was perfectly timed.
I stabbed him
Like, don't you come
once.
at me.
And then yeah, croc attack, which or alligator attack, which
Yeah, sorry, alligators.
yeah,
It's the Everglades, I
yeah,
guess.
which
Whoa.
I liked the I don't know, I like that whole chase scene and everything. I think that's when
Yeah, that. I mean, have you ever seen an alligator like really bust ass though?
no,
Like on land?
no, I
It's
haven't.
it's horrifying.
Yeah,
Like they don't often move fast, but when they have a need to, they have some frightening bursts of speed.
And I think they did a decently good job of building the tension all the way up until then, and then even in the chase, I think they did a good job of showing how um, kind of terrifying this thing is. So I felt
Yeah.
like I felt like that was all good. I mean, I liked the beginning of the movie and this like just the tension that it built. I kind of just liked her driving in the hurricane for some reason. I don't know. That felt cool to me.
Yeah, the only problem I had with that, and it's a problem I have with a lot of these like lower to mid budget movies is like whenever they do hurricanes, they all look the same, like weird, unnatural gray. Like there's something about the lighting versus the sky that it always just looks not quite natural. The
Yeah.
like the way an actual storm
Oh,
looks.
there's a very unnatural part that you get to eventually in this movie, to where I'm like, you guys could have done better. You could-
I'd say there were several times that happened.
yeah.
But do you want to get to that part now?
I mean, honestly, so okay. So what happens in the movie? They get down in the crawl space. They try a bunch of things. To me, it's fun to watch, but I don't think any of it is like significant to talk about in reviewing the movie or anything like that. I just think, cool things. There is. So the only thing that I think is significant is when she actually gets to the point to where she gets um, into their like den, and then you kind of find out, oh, this is where all these are. That's like the most significant part, and then we could go over. I mean, the kills and everything I think are significant. That's where it like starts to build and is cool, like the looters and everything. So
The kills are pretty good,
yeah, they're not
except for the the sheriffs. I was a little iffed by.
like
So yeah, they try a bunch of things. At one point, she's already halfway underwater. Like the crawl space is already halfway underwater. They've been kind of stuck for a while. Uh, she somehow survived a death roll in incredibly decent position. Or I guess it wasn't a death roll; it was a shake.
yeah.
But she survived her first croc attack relatively okay.
Yeah, and
Uh,
you get bit by a crocodile. I mean, get bit by an alligator,
Alligator.
and then she's
Yeah.
just like fine, like she can move and do all these things still. And I'm
Yeah,
just like,
meanwhile, her dad's bone is out of the skin, and he has to push it back in with a wrench, which was a burly scene.
yeah, that was like probably if one of the best scenes in the whole movie, if not the like best, for like cringiness, not like
Yeah,
not
yeah,
bad
it was
cringe, good
gruesome.
cringe, and like gruesomeness and stuff. I thought that was really good. Um, I also liked that when, so like when she got attacked, she actually got bit and got attacked and just didn't get it away, and there was real struggle and everything, and that's kind of how
Yeah, and
they.
then she had to deal with it. Although her dealing with it was just taking one of her capri pants like leg ties and just tying it around the wound, which is not the best way to
I mean,
survive that.
I guess that's all she had, and she's just a college student. She might not know everything.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like it didn't, like it fucking worked. That's the weird part. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the Hollywood part. So, anyways, so she tries to get the attention of three looters, who, like, before the movie started, I was looking up the cast on IMDb, just seeing if I recognized any of them from anything, and like the there's the like four top billing. There's uh, Kea uh, Scudeliero, probably saying that horribly wrong, but that's Haley. Um, and she's been in some things, Maze Runner, Pirates of the Caribbean, uh, and then Barry
She's
Pepper, the dad Dave, uh, from Saving Private Ryan and True Grit, and then the fourth one is this dude named. Oh, sorry, no, they changed it. It was originally Anson Boone, who's just the third looter who's inside the shop, like eating raw or eating
hot dogs that
like
were
the
left.
yeah, but like I've never seen hot dogs in a convenience store just on a shelf like that. Like I've only ever seen them on rollers.
Yeah, and look,
So that was
and the hot dog looked a little
so
weird
gross.
as well. Yeah,
It didn't even look like it was cooked.
no, he just grabbed it and ate it. And it was pretty good.
Yeah. But they all get chomped pretty harsh.
Yeah, I like that they were like still in the ATM, and then the one looter guy's like, oh, somebody needs our help, and the alligator's just attacking the girl behind him.
Yeah.
I think that was funny, but honestly,
I thought it was
nobody-
kind of funny. I thought it was a little obnoxious that nobody heard it, but
Yeah, I mean, I know it's
But
a
I'll
hurricane
let
and
that
there's wind
slide.
and stuff, but yeah. Okay, so do you want to keep going linear down the story, or what do you want to do? Do you want to just
Sure,
keep
so-
skipping
so
around, or
the-
what?
I mean, you're right. There's just like that's probably my biggest problem with this movie is that there's just not that much to talk about. It's also less than an hour and a half long.
Yeah, hour 27 minutes, I think.
Yeah. But like, there's just not much to say. Like, so after the looters, then the sheriffs come by, or the police, or whatever law enforcement they are. A guy that used to date her sister and his partner or whatever. So, like, problem number one is they ruined that kill in the trailer, and it's like, even in the trailer, it kind of looks absurd, but it's just kind of a silly looking kill. Well, the original Snatch, and then the like struggle once he's dragged down into the crawl space is pretty brutal. So I'm okay with that. But like the original Snatch was
Yeah.
a bit much.
And, I mean, the dog had been barking there and was up there. Why didn't it snatch the dog? Why did it just snatch the sheriff?
Yeah, it continued. It like that dog had some thick fucking plot on it, which I'm not opposed to. It was a cute dog named
Yeah.
Sugar, but just
Eh.
seemed a little silly. And then the partner is outside being the dumbest fucking dick in the world.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that part. Like, why, like him
Like-
just looking over at the thing.
I
and
mean,
then
why would
walking
you
to
not
it.
crawl on your boat to get a better angle of it at least? Like, just like, oh, I wonder what that is. Like, he's just like, oh, that's weird that swing is moving so unnaturally. I guess I better get real close to it. Oh, it snapped.
Yeah.
And I'm dead. And then he gets killed by fucking every alligator in Florida, apparently. Like that is what happened, right? There was just like a dozen alligators
Yeah, there was just a ton
chomping
of
on him.
Yeah.
Like it was like a. Oops, sorry.
Jeez. Yeah, there was just all the alligators from the den came to get him, basically.
Yeah. And that was another thing I didn't like about the movie is just like there was a sudden, or not a sudden, but there just seemed like a lack of uh, central villains.
Yeah. What? Okay. That I did have a big problem with that because once it got when it was the two alligators and they were just and you thought it was just those two. I felt like there was more suspense, and then it started showing all the ones outside, and I was like, okay, there's more alligators, kind of makes sense. And then she gets to the den, and then it's like, oh, there's just a whole swarm hive type thing of all these alligators, and now I'm like, oh, you kind of lost me. I don't really care about all of them anymore. Well, like
Right.
because she stabs the one in the eye, and then they do like a foreshadow on the eye, like, oh, this guy's gonna come back, this is gonna be significant, and then it
Yeah.
never comes back to her like
This
killing
is
it.
gonna be the big bad.
Yeah, and none of that ever
Uh,
happens.
yeah. Yeah. So like it it kind of lacked that cinematic payoff at the end, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah,
Um.
I'm not either because after I looked at all the a bunch of the reviews, people like loved the movie and thought it was like really good. I didn't.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it's a lot better than a lot of creature features. I mean, creature features are always like at best a B movie. Uh, and then you get to the Sci-Fi Channel ones, which are just, those are like occasionally they're fun, but often they're pretty hard to sit through.
yeah.
But like this one just like it lacked payoff to me.
Oh, definitely, because big there was no big baddie or anything. Even when when the Deep Blue Sea movie, there's other isn't there other sharks and stuff, and then
There there's three sharks. Um, I think it's like a mother and two sisters, or they're all three from the same lineage. But I mean, like you see them kill another shark just for food. Um, like they're fed a tiger shark at the beginning of the movie just to show how big and bad they are. And then they
yeah,
can like those are the only three problems in the movie, or they're not the only problems, but they're the main problem. Like that's the focus of the entire movie is those three.
yeah,
So
and
yeah, there was like there's the first big gator in the basement, and then turns out, surprise surprise, there's a second one. And then you see that third one swimming up towards the house, and it's just like, okay, so there's gonna be three, rule of threes. It's pretty sure.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden, like that one cop gets swarmed, and it's just like, oh, how many fucking gators are there, and why are they all here?
yeah. Then they never answer. Like, I mean, they answer that, but like, what made
Do they?
them just that they got through the sewer drain thing and then laid all their eggs there. But why were they so hostile towards people? I don't think gators are like, I don't know. But yeah,
Well,
once it,
gators are very protective of their young,
yeah,
which I have a problem with that scene too. But it just, yeah, there was this lack of like, I guess maybe some people might praise it for its like lack of traditional Hollywood storytelling in that regard, but I don't know. Everything else about it is pretty much straight Hollywood storytelling. So, like, the only thing you lack is the payoff. That that's pretty disappointing to me.
yeah. Like I said, once they showed all the other alligators, I kind of stopped caring about the other two big ones, and I was like, guess they don't matter. Like I had no like enemy or anybody to uh, care about dying or anything like that. I just had, oh, maybe want to see them survive and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's probably my biggest gripe against this movie is it's not really bad, so you can't like rail against it for being bad, but like it lacks certain things to like give it the substance to be really good. So it's just this kind of middling movie to me.
yeah,
And like it's got exciting moments, but overall it's just like, well, I'm glad I watched it because I wanted to see it, but I'm probably never going to watch it again. Like I'll absolutely go back and watch Lake Placid or Deep Blue Sea or Jaws or hell man, I'll go rewatch Bats again because Lou Diamond Phillips is in it. But this one just lacks.
yeah. I I feel completely the same way. I don't know. Since cinematically good, like I like the shots. I like the gore, gruesomeness of it. I like the jump scares and stuff. I thought it had some suspense and some thrill at the beginning, but it at the end it kind
And
of just
honestly, I
went away.
really I really like the cast. Kea Scodelario, Haley. I thought she was great. She she like had the intensity um, of someone who could maybe survive this situation. And Barry Pepper, well, I mean, like I still can't think of him as anything other than the sniper from Saving Private Ryan, but like because of that, and he was also in True Grit in 2010 and a few other things. I mean, I like Barry Pepper, uh, but I like both of them. They just had some pretty lame ass dialogue to deal with.
Yeah, they're both way better actors than what the dialogue and like movie had them deal with, and it's kind of
Yeah.
sad because they're both great actors and they didn't get to really act. You know, she got to act a little bit, and
Honestly, she did have some really good moments.
yeah,
Like she never just like broke out into a full panic. Every now and then she needed like a moment to like get herself back in the right headspace, but she always um she always like even when she was crying and everything, like she had some real good crying moments where it was like she's hurt, she's scared and everything, but she's not out of the game. She's not useless by any means. Like she's always just like gotta reset and get back into this. And that's why the like Apex Predator thing kind of pissed me off is because they could have made that work and have been really badass, especially with her playing that character. Uh, like it was there, and then they just kind of farted across the finish line with it. Like they didn't give her that ultra moment where she actually was the apex predator. Her swimming and beating the alligators was just like I was just sitting there kind of like this is fucking bullshit.
yeah,
But like
yeah,
like they lacked that moment. Like I really wanted to see her like have a final moment with the one-eyed croc because she had already gouged out its eye with a fucking screwdriver,
yeah,
and that just didn't happen.
yeah. Um,
And then
so
I go on.
no, you're good. So we're just gonna basically skip to the scene to where she is in the den, and then we'll talk from like that's where we're gonna focus on from now.
Okay.
The because I think more significant type things happen after that to where we can actually talk about. But yeah, so me personally, I think the best cinematic scene is when she gets out of the tunnel. When she gets out of it, she's underwater, holding her breath and everything, and the alligators are like swimming over her and beside her and everything. I thought that was a really good setup for them, and I
Okay.
honestly,
Hold. We're you're getting ahead of me. Back to that den scene. Fuck that
okay.
scene.
What do you
Like,
mean?
I mean, one of the things that, like, as much as I love creature features, I hate it when they use real animals and give them unrealistic animal traits. So, like, up until that point, it kind of made sense how aggressive the gators were, even though there was a fucking hurricane. Because, I mean, like, I feel like that would kind of make their priority survival and not eating literally everything all the time like they've never been fed before. Because they tried to eat fucking everything.
Yeah.
So like I was kind of I was kind of like there's only so many times an animal needs to eat before it's full, and and like the introduction of, oh yeah, by the way, there's 1,000 alligators. That I guess kind of kind of worked it. It's just a different alligator every time. That's why they're all so hungry. But I have a hard time believing they'd all be that hungry in a hurricane. So like when you show the eggs, it's just like, oh, it's not trying to eat as much as trying to protect its nest. Like that's legit. But then that gator comes in through the storm drain and couldn't give a fuck about this like 5 foot whatever creature standing on top of her goddamn eggs.
Well, I mean, as long
And
as
then
she doesn't splash or move or anything, I guess she's invisible, which we'll
no,
get
that's
to in
bullshit.
just a second.
That's absolutely bullshit. But but then but then the eggs start hatching, and alligators and crocodiles, like when their eggs hatch, which by the way, it hatching right then and there, how fucking convenient, but whatever. It straight up does not matter in this movie. But them, like, when mother alligators and crocodiles hear their babies hatching, they go and they grab the babies in their mouths and take them to water, like to a place they know is safe for them to start swimming, so that they can start swimming and not like immediately get eaten by bigger crocs or big fish or snapping turtles or whatever. But instead, like that, like that egg hatches, and I'm just like, oh shit, Mama Croc's coming back, because I'm still in that mindset of like, there's got to be a big bad. Uh, and then nothing happens from it. Like, literally nothing occurs from that egg hatching, and like she she grabs the gun, uh, gets her entire arm bitten, and somehow, like, it was a love bite, and she was able to just blast that fucker in the throat, however many shots Glocks have, which I think is like 16 or 18.
Yeah.
Just blam, 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 blam. And then, so, I mean, like, one and done on that gun, but alright. And then, like, that's the end of one croc, but, again, like, that entire nest scene didn't have any of the payoff, except
Yeah.
for the fact that she's now next to the hole.
I honestly felt like the whole nest thing was unnecessary. It didn't really need to happen. I mean, they could have shown that, oh, they had babies in different ways or something like that, and that's why they're so aggressive. But other than that, I felt like it was kind of pointless. It was just a way of them being like, this is what we're going to say they're doing this for. And this is why there's so many here. I felt like that's the only way they felt like
Yeah,
they
but
could tell that.
But, like, alligators aren't like snakes. They don't, like, group up in winter into a big-ass orgy for the entire winter so their vibrations keep them all warm. Like, alligators don't need that, like, hive. So the entire thing felt weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, so she finally goes into the storm drain. And at that point, she's, like, kind of hesitant. It's just like, you got to go in that storm drain. Like, you can't just stand on a crocodile nest, and you can't uh, and you can't like hesitate going forward because you are in literally the only way they're getting into the house currently. So you gotta get the fuck out of that storm drain. So scoop, and then like when she gets to the other end, and like then I understand her hesitating where she's like peeking out. Also, another thing I had with this movie is the water is far too fucking clear all the goddamn time.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have definitely been more cloudy, especially for it to be like the rainwater and all that dirt and everything.
Like you would have an inch of visibility
Yeah,
for that entire movie.
but yeah, but that scene when she goes out of it, it's a great scene. I loved the
Yeah,
underwater thing that they did. Felt good.
yeah. I don't know if a crocodile or if an alligator would actually be at all bothered by bubbles tickling its chin, but I'll let that slide. That was a pretty intense scene, except for like she gets to the bank, and the alligator was like right on her heels, and like her just like getting her toes out of the water is enough to like get get her away from it. Felt like there should have been a more tense scene of like it lunging onto the shore. I mean, it's not like a shark.
Yeah, it. I
You know what I
feel.
mean?
Yeah, I felt like it should have followed him up or something like that. But maybe it. I don't know.
Yeah, just a little bit.
She also climbed on to the bank really, really fast.
Yeah, but once she was on the bank, she crawled onto it really, really slow.
Yeah. So
Like she got on there, like, cause it was clearly just like, okay, next shot, you're on the bank, so you just gotta crawl. So like, she's suddenly on the bank, and then she's just like, I mean, like she's doing her best, but like it's kind of a steep, muddy bank, so like it's understandable that like she's having a rough time. But like the alligator's just like, oh, she got out of the water, she got away.
yeah. I don't know. All that didn't. I don't know. But
So
she.
and then this scene pissed me off. So she gets back up to the house, uh, and now the entire thing is underwater. Not sure exactly how that happened. Like the timeline doesn't really line up, but sure, whatever. Like now it's going to be a tense scene of her trying to get him out before he drowns. And then like this man who was her swim coach for her entire childhood can't hold his breath for more than 7 fucking seconds.
Yeah.
Like, and not only that, but it's not like, but like he goes underwater and then he's just gulping like a fucking fish, like gulping the fucking water. It's just, what are you doing, man? Like, you trying to tap out on us?
Yeah. And this is my biggest where my biggest problem comes in with the whole movie. He has a shovel. She gets to the floor. She pulls up the floor very easily. Why didn't they take the
Yeah,
shovel
the fact
and
that
hit the floor, and they would have all gotten
from
out?
underneath.
Yeah, they would have
Yeah,
all gotten out and been safe, and maybe saved some lives. It makes no sense. They thought of every other way to get out other than, oh, we have a shovel, let's hit the floor. You know, I don't know. That was. I, for them to, like, send her up there and then go through the floor like that, I was like, that's kind of dumb. Because what I thought that was going to happen, he was going to somehow get to that hatch. Like, that's where he had moved to, and she was going to open that up for him, but it was no, I'm going to tear up
right.
the floor really easily to where we could have probably punched through it or taken the shovel and went through it with, I mean, he had a whole tool belt down there. A whole tool belt.
Yeah,
And they couldn't do anything. They couldn't go through the side of the brick or anything. Like, all you have to do is take out one or two of those bricks and it comes out, and then she could have went upstairs. Like,
yeah. I felt the exact same way. Like, and that one part where he's got that like weird jack in like from the like racing the ceiling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, that was kind of weird because I thought he was in one of the safety safes, and then like that gator's just coming right at him until he kicks it out. So I don't know how that gator got into that safety safe,
Yeah, it didn't really
but
seem like he went anywhere, but then he trapped the gator there.
yeah, and
Definitely
and then
seems.
he fucking shoveled it to death, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll give him props for that. He did shovel that fucking gator to death like he was the shoveler from Mystery Men. But yeah, why the fuck didn't he like? He didn't even try to like test the floorboards with the shovel.
No, they didn't try to
It's
do
just
any of that stuff, which made no sense to
you know
me.
it's kind of a mm, it was a weak plot hole.
Yeah. Okay. Then after that
Oh,
week plot
also,
hole,
like, why the fuck did they even have a drain from the basement into the lake? That seems like a real bad idea.
yeah, that makes no. Maybe because honestly, I have no idea. Really, I have
Yeah.
no idea.
I mean, like,
It makes no
the
sense.
only thing I could plausibly think of is that like they uh like it's used to drain water out of the like out of the basement. Like water gets into the basement because it's got those weird like holes on all the sides, and he'd use it to and it was used to just
Drain
get
it.
the water to drain into the lake.
Yeah.
But hey Kevin, come to me. But look at my fish. Shot it. But like still like the way that thing's supposed to drain, like any kind of snake could get in there, or like all manner of things you don't want in your basement. And that's assuming like that weird uh grate covering holds, which apparently no it didn't, because that shit was broken to like
It looked like
just
somebody
all
had.
kinds of broken.
It looked like somebody had like cut it up, not like an alligator got through it. Like it made no sense how it was off. Like because it was cut in the middle. You know. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just weird.
Um.
All right, so she gets out. She uh gets him out of the basement. He drowns. She revives him in the classic Hollywood way of like, oh, like CPR doesn't work. Just smash his chest. Like give him a couple of hammer punches, and sure enough, he starts coughing up water,
Yeah.
which is like one of the most absurd cliches that like anyone with a medical background always bitches about, and anyone who like reads about people bitching about it like also bitches about it because now they know it's just it's a trope or a cliche that should be put to bed for a long time, because that thing is far too fucking used.
Yeah. Eh, I don't know, man. It, all that. Well, and once that happens, they have this smart idea of, oh man, the levee's about to break. We need to go get this boat that's all the way across this thing to where she's already
Also,
seen three
what happened
people
to the
get
cop
killed.
boat?
Yeah, I guess it just
Yeah,
floated
what
away.
happened to the cop boat?
Guess it just
Yeah,
floated away.
sure.
Yeah, but that other boat didn't float away. um, but so they have this
Yeah,
idea to go get this boat, and then he's like, the rain will block us from splashing and stuff, so they won't hunt. So they,
sure,
yeah, that makes
sure,
total
Barry.
sense. I mean, he lives in Florida. He must know all about them gators. But but
Yeah.
they walk out. Dumb idea, by the way. They have to pick up the dog, go all the way over there. They know the levee's about to break, and then all of a sudden they're in the eye of the storm. So convenient to where to where it has this the eye of the storm scene happens. The camera pans up. It looks down on them. You can see that the water's clear, and that you can see them. And then it's like one of the most obvious scenes of like, oh, we aren't at a location. We aren't anywhere. We are literally on a set in a box with water or something like that. And I was just like,
Yeah.
you could like, it makes no sense. Why didn't you at least try to make it look better when it was in the eye of the storm? It didn't even. It just made no sense, and that scene really irked me. And I was like, this is the ugliest scene I've ever seen of pure blatancy of we're in a set rather than trying to
Yeah.
make it look good.
Yeah. Weird choice.
Yeah. And then the most iconic part of the whole movie happens next. She becomes an apex predator and outswims alligators. She's
Every
faster
alligator.
than all of them. Just she takes the handoff up the middle. She Tim Tebow's them, and just takes it home and gets to the boat without any problem, really, because she's
Couldn't win that
fast.
fucking relay though.
Nope. I don't know. That part
it just
made no sense.
What a weak payoff to that whole Apex nonsense.
Yeah. It's like how do they were? It's like they were sitting there thinking, how do we bring this swimming thing in that we've kept doing these pretty shitty flashbacks to, and make it cool and seem like, oh, this is why we set all this up. And then she gets there. She has this glory moment. Gets the boat. She gets on the boat, and then she says some dumb, who's the apex now, or some bullshit like that. You know.
Yeah. And like that would have worked if she had straight up like gutted an alligator with a fucking Bowie knife or some shit. Like if she had gone toe to toe with the one-eyed gator from the beginning with like either the screwdriver or like any other kind of improvised weapon in the water, and like she ended up killing it, and then she had said that line, would have been all for it. It would have been like, woo, fuck yeah. You're the apex predator. But no, that didn't happen.
All she
and
did
then
was,
and then the levee breaks.
yeah.
And so like the entire thing felt completely pointless because they went right back in the house.
Yeah, it was just like, why would any of this happen? Why did you write this story to where they even went outside? Like, I don't know. It felt dumb.
Also, why did you not like start the fucking boat?
And go. Why didn't they try to outrun the levee or like get somewhere else?
Or at least ride it out.
Yeah. They just both ducked and went back into the house. And then, honestly, everything after that, except for probably the best gator attack scene happens. Well, there's two really good gator attack scenes that happen after that. But I mean,
I'm gonna probably disagree with you on one.
Oh, okay. Which one do you not like?
Well, go on. Name the first one.
Oh, the first one for me is the arm being ripped off.
Ooh, god damn. Yeah,
And-
that was a fucking scene. Little
Yeah.
Sugar comes swimming around the corner. He gets Sugar. He puts Sugar on the stairs. And then what is he doing? Like, he's just kind of still standing in the water?
Yeah, I don't know why he was in the water at all. It just seemed like he was nonchalant,
Yeah,
didn't
like-
care.
Like, he should have just dragged Sugar up the stairs and been like, alright, honey, we're upstairs. can you get away? Do you need my help? I've got like half a leg. And then,
Yeah.
bam! Gator death rolls his fucking arm and it breaks, and it's just like, holy shit, that's brutal. And then it's just gone. It's just like, oh, wow,
Yeah,
that's
that
permanent.
was that was the best like brutality scene of the whole movie. And right before that, I was thinking, I was like, man, every shark movie, everything had scenes to where they just like straight up bit off legs or arms or something. And I know alligators can't really do that, but I wonder if we're gonna see
No,
that.
they
And then it
absolutely can.
happens. And
Yeah,
then yeah, and then it
and
happens, and I was like, oh
and
my god.
yeah, that was a solid one. Was not expecting Barry Pepper to lose an arm. Um,
I was
I've
expecting them
got
to
something to
die.
say about that later, but yeah, I was kind of expecting him to die there. But but he didn't. Uh, and then he also gets up the stairs. And then it's weird because the house is completely open, so the water level should have been the same in the house and outside the house, except for you could see through the window the water was like
Not.
almost to the top of the second story,
Yeah.
but on the stairs it was still like only up the stairs. Really a weird inconsistency. But she hears a helicopter and decides to try to signal it from inside the house. Don't know why.
Yeah.
And an alligator burst through the fucking window, which was just annoying to me.
But I liked
It's just like
the
that's
cinematic to where she jumps over the shower thing and gets out of there.
yeah, sure. Except like, I mean, I've broken shower doors easier than that fucking gator did. Like,
Yeah, that door.
what was that shower glass made out of?
Yeah, that shower door and glass should have like folded in very easily, and
Like
then
it should have either popped out of the fucking um, sliders, or it should have broken.
yeah,
But
and then you so you have all that part, and then she swims outside and gets attacked by another gator. I mean, who would have thought that, right? um,
yeah,
and
shocker of all shockers, these gators are fucking got murder boners, I guess.
yeah, they're just
'Cause
like,
it makes
oh,
no
we're gonna
sense
kill
for
everything.
gators to be attacking where they are.
Yeah, and then she gets on the gutter, holding onto the gutter, uses the gutter to like make the gator go away, and then the gator gets swept away by the was it debris or just the current? And then she just
I think it was actually debris.
okay, so it gets swept away by debris. She doesn't kill it. She doesn't have like a winning battle or anything. And then that's the last time we see the gator. The
Yeah,
dad,
and then like her fingers are barely clinging on, and one arm Barry Pepper fucking snatches her and and gets her out of there.
yeah, snatches her, gets her out of there, and then they both lay there and like, oh, you know, we might be dead, we might not, and then they see a helicopter, and then she stands up, holds a flare, and
She
then
pops a flare.
all of a sudden the movie ends, and I'm like, you build up this stupid swimming thing about her getting beat by everything, and you don't give me a scene after that of like him coming and watching you win or something like
Yeah,
that.
right. Like
You
there's
just
there's
end
no
it.
like him with his fucking like half an arm in a sleeve, like cheering her on, and she fucking crushes that bitch who beat her at the beginning. Like
Yeah.
how are you like, and also like just what are you saying? Are you saying they definitely got out of that? Because I mean, like the alligators have been unbelievably relentless up until this point, and now that like they can literally reach the roof because it's water level, you're saying the alligators are just like, oh well, helicopters here, GG.
Yeah, and it looked like the helicopter was going to get like taken away by the hurricane like twice.
Yeah,
It just
or like I honestly was cringing against the possibility of like a gator just like flying out of the water and crushing that helicopter. Like I was just like, oh, they better not. And then the movie just ends, and I was just like I was so stunned by how fucking just like cut to black that ending was. I waited through the entire credits just to see if something else was there. Like, I know I kind of been trained by Marvel to expect something there, but also just like, how the fuck are you gonna say that's how it ends? How are you saying that's how it ends?
Yeah,
And
I
then
totally.
it just ends.
I just left.
And the only, well, I stayed, and I did learn one thing, one really weird thing, by staying through the credits. They filmed this in Serbia.
Serbia?
What the fuck?
Why didn't they film it
Serbia.
in Florida?
I'm assuming tax credits, but just like Serbia?
I don't know. The way that
Weird.
it ended, everything about the ending was just so unsatisfying. It was just like, we end this movie and give you nothing. There's no big bad dead. There's no anything. I was just like, I was floored. I was like, what is going on? Because
Yeah, it just incredibly
I don't
unsatisfying.
know. It honestly would have been better for a huge mutant gator to jump up and eat the helicopter, and then it end and be like, okay, they all died.
Yeah, and honestly, that would actually kind of explain the plot holes of like why these games are so vicious and everywhere, and like so like focused on killing instead of surviving the fucking hurricane.
Yeah, it makes. Yeah, I don't know. It makes no sense because they just end it with the black, and then they don't go back into like a news story and be like, oh, there was these rampant gators that killed 2 police officers, 3
5
looters.
people.
Yeah. It was like, why did you end it there? You could have like done something more.
There were so many resolution endings they could have gone with, like her swimming and her dad watching, or like a newsreel of just like, wow, how crazy was this, and just
Yeah.
so many things, or like her dad and her sister all spending Christmas together, finally bonding. Who gives a shit about mom? She's not even shown. Like
Yeah.
there's just so many ways they could have gone with it, and instead like their like resolution is just them playing "See You Later, Alligator," which is a lame song anyway, and also felt really inappropriate for like how vicious those gators were. It's just like,
Yeah.
man, like 5 people died, and one dude lost an
Honestly,
arm.
Yeah,
See you
honestly,
later, alligator.
honestly, I feel like Haley should have had a better like ending closure to it, and the Gators should have. I mean, for the Gators to like act like that and be that vicious and stuff, they should have had a closure to where it was really cool. Not, oh, the last Gator gets hit by debris and somehow they're all magically stay alive. You know, I
Yeah.
think the Gators deserve something, but honestly, I'm a little bit tired about talking about this movie because I was so displeased. I don't have anything else to say. I didn't really like the movie. King, do you have anything
I
else
do
to
have
add?
one. Yeah, I got one more thing to say. This movie was inspired by a true gator event during Hurricane Florence.
Really?
You want me to tell you the story of the
Yeah.
inspiration?
Let's finish it off with the inspiration story.
Yeah, this is fucking nuts, right? So a gator walked across a road.
What? That's the inspiration
Yeah.
for the story.
I mean, as far as I can tell, I was like, all right, inspired by something that happened in Hurricane Florence. All right, so Hurricane Florence, gator. I got about 12 news results by like New York Times, several local affiliates, USA Today, and it's all just like a 20-second video of a fucking alligator like walking across a suburban road. It was just like, wow, are you fucking serious?
That happens
then there
every
was
day,
one
even in no hurricane.
I know. Yeah, and then there was one other one of an alligator in a dog park that was 3 feet submerged in water post Hurricane Florence, and it was just swimming around. And the conclusion to that story is officials opened the gates to the dog park so that the alligator could swim away on its own time. It's just like that's what inspired this. Like I was expecting, like I knew it was going to be a like fairly tame story, but I was expecting like a couple surprised to come home to their house after Hurricane Florence to find gator in their crawl space. Like fucking anything. Gator walks across road.
Ah. Well, that's the inspiration's kind of fitting for the movie, and with
Yeah, you
that
know what I have
guy-
to say to, you know, Kevin, you know what I have to say to that?
What? Well, if you're not watching the video and you're on the podcast version, if we get this up, he just he gave some sign language basically in the game.
Some rude hand gestures.
But guys, with that inspiration story, we're just gonna end it. This movie,
Gator
Was-
walks across road.
yes, that's basically
This
it.
movie was a gator walking across a road. Very
But
fitting.
thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to us, give us feedback, do anything. We're gonna try to do these videos weekly. Maybe we'll come out with more. But thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye.